July's been wet and dismal. We haven't left the British Isles, but we played a lot of board games.
Hi, I'm Libby, this is Julian, and together we are BoxedMeeples, and as usual we're going to run you down the new and notable games that we have played in the month of July. Now, it's not been as jam-packed a gaming
June
month.
was a bumper edition because we had the UK Games Expo, and also we went away on holiday, and it seemed all we did was play board games.
Yeah.
So yeah, less this month.
But there are still quite a few new ones. I mean, we've played 19 different games. This doesn't include some of our BGA ones, but 12 of those were new. So in terms of the new ratio, not too bad. But yes, let's get to it. So actually, let's start off with one that has ended up being your game of the month.
Yes.
My Goldmine.
My Goldmine. I didn't expect a great deal from it. I thought it was like a children's game. It seems to be incredibly popular on BGG at the moment. If there's a fantastic Shut Up and Sit Down video, you should watch if you haven't seen it. I think 85,000 people have seen it.
Yes.
Probably you have already. But it's a really great, kind of push your luck family game. If you want to know more about it, it's my game of the month.
It is, yes. So yeah, super fun with that dragon barreling on down the stairs, everyone. And also, I've been trying to introduce you to some of more of the open and play games. So we've also played Dirty Pig, which is like a really fun, silly theme where you each have a certain number of pigs depending on the player count, and they are clean pigs, and you want them to be dirty and muddy. In the base game, there are some different variants for other games, but so you're trying to get them dirty, stop the farmer coming from scrubbing them, keep them in a barn so that the rain can't wash them clean, and all these different things. It's very much card laying to sort of stop your opponent, but also try and sort of progress your movement into your dirtying pigs.
Lots
as well.
of kind of friendly take-thatting.
Yes, yeah. And I really like it that whenever you play the mud card, you say dirty pig, and then you get to turn over your card to make your pig dirty or muddy. Yeah, so that's fun.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. We had a family get together and we played a bizarre game. Well, Julian was doing voices, so of course it was bizarre, of Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout.
Yes, so this is a big potato game. They're very popular in the UK. I don't know how popular they are around the world, but particularly very popular in the UK. And this is... It's kind of like Quiz Shootout is a bit of a misleading name because obviously you have a topic and then you have to rank what you think the most common ones are. Kind of like Family Fortunes, where you're trying to guess the top categories. I got some music and we had a get together, and I just went very over the top with all of it, but everyone had fun, and I think that's the important thing. We didn't play all of the rules in it, but we just gathered around, everyone had a pad of paper, and we're guessing bizarre topics. It was very, very cheap. I put it kind of to £3, I think it was, in a kind of discount shop, in a pound mark shop. We had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun,
for that amount of money.
And the only ones there that were gamers are us, although they always say, "Oh, are you going to bring some games?" So we all sort of err on the sort of slightly lighter side, and then sort of.
And it was a post. We had a very big meal, and we were all sitting on the sofa with a pad of paper. It was a lovely kind of family event.
So that was fun. Of course, I played The Great Wall. My Kickstarter edition arrived, or GameFound edition arrived finally, and I've been talking about it for months, it seems. You're probably bored to tears of me talking about it. It is obviously my game of the month because it's in my top 10 games, so how is it not going to be? But really lovely to get to play my edition, to see that lovely sun drop on all the miniatures, and I'm really excited to get to play more and get to play all the expansions, Ancient Beast, the Black Powder, and things like that. So want to delve into that a lot more. But had a wonderful play of that. So
yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's such a great game. And it's nice to be able to play it with 3 players. And I'm looking forward to expansions because we know the base game quite well now.
Yeah.
I'm keen to see how the expansions mix all up. And you've got them all. You've got everything. So, yeah.
We have been playing Gempire, Zarmund's Demands, which is down here. That's one that we are going to be doing some more content on. It'll be coming to crowdfunding soon. So if you want to hear a little bit more about that, do keep your eyes out for that one. But an interesting game, that.
Proper puzzly game. And we played it with 3 players, which is actually the minimum player count. And we all approached the game differently. And it was really interesting to see how that all panned out. a lot more thinky than I thought it was going to be. Really enjoyable.
Yeah, super fun. And I liked they sort of building out of your layers of city, but you'll see more of that later on. We got Everdell down, the big box collection, which is more of a notable because obviously we have played that quite a lot, and we almost always add Spirecrest in, but this time we also added Brook, which you hadn't played.
I never played Brook, and I think that combination worked quite well. Obviously, you don't want to chuck in every expansion, particularly if you never played them all before.
No.
But we know Spirecrest really well. Brook, I think, was sufficient addition to add a level of thinkiness, and having those two together made quite a complex game. Dialed back our scores as well.
Yeah.
It did open up opportunities of different play styles. It's the first time I played about having a full city. I had quite a small city, really, but then tied for the win because I was focusing on other areas.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see that game we know very, very well evolve and change just because of the expansion path, and that was really interesting.
Well, paying that many resources to get those monuments that are in the Brook expansion really makes a difference to where you're thinking about spending those materials to actually put more things out, or are you saving them for your kind of scroll for the Spirecrest, for your ingredients that you need to like point at the end, or are you just going in there to take that monument? Like, it does add a layer of decisions, but I feel like I'd only played Brook a couple of times, and a long time ago, probably when it first came out. So the memory was a bit hazy, but I thought at the beginning that they would be two that would work quite well together, because Spirecrest is mainly sort of an end of season action things that are reflecting, and then you're trying to sort of store up for the end of the game and things. And obviously, Brook, you're going off to visit and trying to collect these pearls. It's giving you different options to score, and obviously pearls are worse than points at the end, so if you can gather those in, I felt like they wouldn't clash too much in terms of what you were doing, and I definitely would play those together again. Interesting. But the seasons that come in Spirecrest that make you have to pay different things or play more or less, that really makes it a bit tougher.
It certainly did, because a lot of things in Brook require you to have quite a lot of resources, and then you've got bad weather affecting what resources you can get. It made it really thinky.
Really tight. But it was fun.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah, and of course it looks beautiful on the table. As always.
I'm so pleased we've got like the wooden tree now. It's great.
Yeah. We also played Critical Sanctuary. And it's the first time I've done sort of an RPG proper, so I assume it's kind of for me.
It's a really clever idea, because Dungeons & Dragons has become very popular. You know, it's partly due to Stranger Things, perhaps, the film. It seems to have become, flavour of the day, really, which is bizarre, because it's been around for as long as I have, it seems. And I've often wanted to be a games master. You know, when we play, I mentioned in other videos, but when we play those kind of campaign games, I'm always the one reading the book, and I do like the idea of, I'm getting very excited about Detective recently, and working out how I can take people on the journey through a game. So this seemed tailor-made for me, really. It was great.
Yeah, and for me, who I feel slightly intimidated by, you know, if there's a group of people that have been doing games like D&D for a long time, and they're used to getting into the character of it. I mean, often people turn up in fancy dress, don't they? And then I kind of think, oh gosh, like that's intimidating. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't understand what my character should really do, or how I should behave as that character rather than me? Do I know enough to kind of delve in and join that kind of thing? I think this is the perfect entryway into those types of games. And if you like any kind of games with a story thread to it, then have a look at this and see how you go.
And there's two different types you can get. So there's Sanctuary, and there's another one you can get. One is set in a kind of futuristic, semi-futuristic world. One is set in a fantasy world. And we obviously played through Sanctuary, and thank you again to Adam at Board at Home, who kind of shepherded me through GMing for the first time. And it's interesting to peer behind the curtain and see how, you know, realise what the decision spaces were to the players, and, you know, how you've got to be creative to kind of tell a good story and make a good game. So it was really interesting from that point of view. And the game itself obviously spans 9 chapters. And each of them can be played in 30 minutes. And they are, you know, very
accessible.
There's very clear beginnings, very clear ends. So you can play a few on the trot, which is actually what we did. Very much like it, and it's designed this way, very much like a TV series. So you can probably binge it, do the whole thing in 5 hours and play the whole game, or you can take it week by week, segmented out into these little episodes, and it was a great way of experiencing that RPG style game in a accessible way. Really great idea.
And the artwork. Vincent Dutray again does it again. He hits it out of the park every single time. But you get these cards that come up in front of you, and they really put you in the setting of where you are. So if you're in some sort of dungeony room and trying to work out how you'd get out of it or whatever, up comes the card, and you can see the doors and what are around you, and it really brings your surroundings and the story that you've been told by the sort of master to life, and puts that into your imagination. And obviously you've got the character cards which are telling you sort of how you behave in a group and sort of slightly swaying you to what decisions you might choose, which is interesting.
And that art needs that texture, that detail, because then that sparks your imagination. And one thing Adam said, and I think it's been said in other videos as well, it's theatre of the mind. So you've got to create those visions in the players' minds to get them engaged and to get them involved in the storytelling and the story creation process, and having that art there really allowed that to happen. So thoroughly impressed with the critical system, and Sanctuary was fantastic playthrough.
And I think if you are a hardened D&D RPG player, you might find it a little restrictive, but if you know that there are people, or maybe younger members in your family, or people that you're hoping to get into doing that sort of RPG gaming, then this is a great entry path to sort of hook them in and drag them along.
I was very impressed. Really impressed.
Gushing about critical.
We've also been playing similarly. Rogue Angels was a game we talked about last year. In fact, a Kickstarter video, so have a look on that if you're interested.
We'll link that.
Because that also has that kind of RPG style adventuring you go on. It has those decisions to make, inspired by the Mass Effect games. We're going to talk a lot more about this in a future video about returning to a game that we played a lot of last year, and now obviously it's been a year gap and we've gotten back into it. But it's similar. It's interesting how we've been playing these kind of RPG style games. That one will be coming back to crowdfunding soon, so do check out the video, and then if you're interested, I'm sure there's a link you'll find somewhere that you can tag along with that campaign as it progresses. Huge content for that.
For sure. We played After Us, another one with Vincent Dutray art, which looks stunning with those primates, and this is a very puzzly game, and I mean, there is a solo player mode in there, and I do want to try it solo because I think I'm not a huge solo gamer. You're more solo than I am, but this seeing solo to me, it makes me feel like, I don't have a huge amount of time, but I could get this out on the table and really enjoy playing it because of its puzzliness. It doesn't have a huge amount of interaction between players, and I don't mind that. I know some people might, but there is some little elements where you might be able to take a benefit from your partner each round, or opponent each round. But you are taking out your cards of primates and you're matching them up and trying to get the best of the bonuses and see how you're going to sort of upgrade your deck and what resources you're going to get and what points you're going to get. And it's literally the first to 80 points wins.
It's very simple to explain to people, because it's literally a case of, see those little squares, turn them so they make a complete square. Make a rectangle, and you're good to go.
You get that stuff. The rest of it, you don't get.
And then in this case, you've now got that stuff. What do you want to use it for?
One of the games that I played, because I've played it a couple of times this month, it was actually the last turn, and I played the chimp, which allows you to redo one of your boxes on your board, thinking, well, I'll be able to get 2 points out of that, and hoping that my opponent was then going to play another of the 8, which gives you 2 points, knowing that that would take me to 80. And I'd saved the resources to do that. So if you already definitely knew what your opponent was doing, I think you could plan to that advantage, whereas not knowing does leave that sort of moment of, am I going to be able to do it this turn? Am I not? Can I push for an extra point or not? So it does add a little bit of something, but mainly you're playing each round sort of in your own best way and seeing who can do the best deck building, the best resource management, the best spending of, are you spending to do that deck build? Are you thinning out the deck? Are you gathering the resources in order to just pay off and get the points that are on those boxes that you've matched up to spend what you've gathered in on those? There are lots of different options in order to maximize points, and I think I want to play more and more and more just to see how much better I can get at that. So it's not a tricky game. It's quick to table. I think it's going to be one of those games that we go to on an evening when we're a bit tired. It's late. Someone's got home from work. We've still got to do. We've still got to do dinner. And we've still got to do all that stuff. But we can fit in, a nice quick 30-minute game that will give us a little bit of a puzzle. So that kind of game, I think, it's going to be good. It definitely has a good space on the shelf for us.
Certainly. Yeah.
What else have we been playing? Pugly Pirates is another one that we're going to have some more content coming up very soon, so do keep an eye on that. But if you like pirates and if you like dogs, like we do,
it's a game for you. Yeah. It's a kind of almost classic pirate game. It's got all the ingredients you want in a pirate game, family friendly, quite simple rule sets. And just lots and lots of dog-related fun and games. But yes, there'll be video coming up on that, so I'm not going to spoil too much about how much we enjoyed it. But rest assured, if you are looking for a family pirate dog game, your prayers have been answered.
Full of doggy puns.
Lots of dog puns.
Yeah, it's super fun. We have also been playing Petrichor, a game all about the weather and being a cloud and travelling about, seeing when it's going to rain.
Yeah, so we will have some more content on this coming up, but we played it a couple of times. We played it with 2, we played it with a 4-player account, and interesting how that changed, and that changed the process of playing it. But it's a really interesting theme, and I think it's great that there's these bizarre abstract concept games that exist, and it does play like feel like you're playing as a cloud. It's bizarre, but yes, lots of fun and really, really pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Great table presence.
And I really like how you move the clouds around on the board, and that could potentially be to your opponent's disadvantage.
that wind was my undoing, as is often the case.
We also have played Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom, which will be coming out soon. Another very family weight game from Kosmos, where you're going adventuring, seeing if Frodo can get that ring all the way to Mount Doom. And it's quite a tricky game, but certainly still family weight, isn't it?
Yeah, simple to explain. It has echoes of the Andor games in there, but not entirely. You can see kind of the DNA of it, I feel. But yeah, great use of the theme.
The card art is lovely, really good.
I do like the notion of having to keep a collection of kind of workers, really, or a collection of pieces together on a board, and then judging how far ahead do you need something, whereabouts should they be in the order, the fellowship, which order should they be, when's it the best point to cross over the line to a new section of board, and almost ability management. We are in a spot of bother here, but are we in as much bother as going to be later on, or should we save this unique benefit for then? And it was very tricky though.
Yes.
Harder than I was anticipating.
Yeah, and I think it's taken a couple of games to sort of discover how best to manage that sort of people decisions and special bonuses, and when to keep stuff back for and things like that. Some of the cards are going to give you a sort of extra bonus funds to use as and when you want in the game, and other cards are going to be basically hitting you hard right then, right there. And if you don't have the defense to that because all your people are in the wrong places.
I do love the irony of this game, in that you can in fact walk into Mordor. That's pretty much what the finale is. One does indeed walk into Mordor. Anyway.
We've also been playing Crumbs, a sandwich filler game, which if you like button shy games, do keep a huge look out for this one. It is so fun. You are making sandwich orders, and it's a solo game, but it also has 2-player options. But yeah, the art is great. Yeah. It's very compact, small, just cards that you're working with, and a couple of little pieces to sort of help you track some bits and bobs.
I think the analogy to the comparisons to button shy are obvious, but it does have some tokens in this. Yeah. If it were a button shy game, it would be one of my favourite button shy games. I really enjoy it. as a solo game, and I was tempted to include it on my recent video I did on the train games to play on the train, which are solo. But because we are doing another video coming up, I didn't mention it on that because I wanted to have a kind of bigger exposure, because I think this is a really great game that a lot of people are going to enjoy. But yeah, if you get this game and you have 15 minutes spare, any point during the day in a little bit of table space, you'll be playing this game over and over again, trying to crack the puzzle of it.
Yeah, and as you said, we'll have more content coming up on Crumbs, as it is going to crowdfunding very soon. So look out for that one. And lastly, we played Unmatched for the first time, which is such a popular series of games. I mean, there's so many different characters out now that I think we're sort of a bit behind the ball on that one. And we went to a local tabletop con and they had an Unmatched tournament. So having not played the game at all before, of course, we joined the tournament.
Yeah, we thought we've got sufficient standing to compete in this. Neither of us did very well. I did better.
I did dreadfully. I played Doctor Strange and I lost all three battles straight away. Lost all of my token coins that you were sort of trying to collect from every player as you won, or had to give away if you lost. And obviously the person with the most amount of coins at the end was the tournament winner. So yeah, mine just got dished out game after game after game. I think I had one turn against the T-Rex and I started the game and then I don't know, the cards just fell well for the T-Rex player, just managed to do and take another turn. And if you win this battle and take another turn, and I boosted my first turn, which had meant that all of my shield cards were gone from my hand. I had nothing else, and he was just playing and take another turn. And now, I'll attack and take another turn. Oh, I'm going to attack again. It's like I've got no defense. I can do nothing. I haven't got the right cards, and all my health is gone. So that was. I would be interested to play again, and I'd be interested to play maybe in a single box to see how well they're matched up. I'm sure some of it is to do with my ineffective gameplay, but I did dreadfully.
So I did better, but obviously I was playing as people who knew the characters they're playing much better. Mm-hmm. I played as Achilles, and I by the fourth game I was kind of working out his strengths and how best to use him, which is basically keep him back and get his mate killed. But yes, we were playing against people who knew the game much better than us, and we didn't really stand much of a chance. But it was a fun experience. It's fun to get involved in those kind of events that happen at cons.
Yeah, we weren't in it for winning, obviously. We were just in it to sort of learn the game and have a bit of fun. And our friend from one of the local gaming stores, Dice and Destiny, was running the tournament and was like, "Oh, gosh, just join along. I'll teach you as you go. It will be great." And it was a lot of fun. It was. Yeah. And it's. I think that kind of tournament thing is something I'd give a try again.
Yeah, it was. Normally you wouldn't play the same character 4 times in the space of 2 hours. Obviously, that'd be a bit monotonous. But it was fun to play, and it's fun to get a chance to play again. We haven't played as obviously a bit of a gap in our board game knowledge. So it's a good show, like.
Yeah, it was. So that's all our new and notable games for this month. We hope that you have enjoyed watching those. Of course, we are Libby and Julian at BoxedMeeples. If you aren't already subscribed, we would really appreciate it if you would. Maybe like the video, give us a comment about what your favourite games are that you've played this month, or any comments on the games that we have discussed would be amazing.
Yeah, and obviously if you want to get any of these, the first place you should probably look is your friendly local game store. And for us in the southeast of England, that is in fact Chaos Cards. Well, if you're not in the southeast of England, because they've got a fantastic website which has got every game ever on, it seems, and at really great prices. But if you want to make them a little bit cheaper, and you've not shopped there before, not used this code before, we have a discount code that'll get you 5% off if there's, you want to get some money off at the checkout. But as always, thank you so much for watching.
See you next time. Bye.